Everybody, we're doing a webinar today on Wednesday, December 4th at 3 o'clock involving the compromise to the U.S. telecommunications industry by Chinese threat actors. Link will be down in the description. Hope you can join us. Hi everyone, Sean Walbin with Secure Cyber. Breaking news on the cyber front, so let's get right into it. Yesterday, the U.S. Department of Justice, the FBI, and CISA, on a call with reporters, indicated that since the spring, they have been investigating a compromise of U.S. telecommunications cellular networks. This is in line with AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile being the likely victims. However, the federal authorities were indicating that they are still trying to figure out and work with other telecom providers to really understand the extent of this compromise. Now, the threat actor responsible for this is Salt Typhoon, which is a Chinese threat actor. This is the same variant of a threat actor, Volt Typhoon, that has been very active inside U.S. critical infrastructure. So the question really is, what does this mean and what do we do? So first of all, in the description of this YouTube video, there'll be a link to a PDF threat intelligence report that I produced that has a lot of this information in it, but we'll verbalize it right here since we're here. Now, follow me. If you have an iPhone, any of the iDevices, iDevice to iDevice, so iPhone to iPhone, anything inside the Apple ecosystem is end-to-end encrypted using iMessage. So we're primarily talking about text messages and phone calls right now. So iDevice to iDevice is fine from a text perspective because that is end-to-end encrypted. Now, next up, for Android, if you're using the Google Messages platform, that is also end-to-end encrypted. So if you're text messaging using Google Messages, you're fine. Now, from a voice perspective, this is where it starts to get a little bit complicated. The federal government is actually recommending the use of encryption platforms like Signal and WhatsApp to make end-to-end encrypted phone calls. The issue is that when the Chinese made their compromise inside these telecom networks, they were able to get access to a lot of metadata, who you were talking to and from phone calls, text messages, and they were actually able to listen to phone calls as well. So if the phone call is encrypted using either the Signal or the WhatsApp applications, then that phone call is not able to be listened to. So at the end of the day, this is what you have to worry about. First of all, you don't have to just get rid of your cell phone. You just have to be mindful about who and what you are talking about on the phone and who or what you're texting about. So if you're just texting about, personal things, there's probably not a big reason to get excited about encryption and moving to things like WhatsApp and Signal. However, if you work in critical infrastructure, so maybe you work at a power plant or a wastewater plant, you're an IT person, maybe you work at a hospital. If you're in any of those critical infrastructure areas, this is where it starts to get concerning. So you'll need to check with your IT department and with your administration at wherever you work to understand what you're going to do in order to respond to this type of threat. This is something very unprecedented, something that we probably don't have a lot of controls out there for, and really, frankly, wasn't expecting this to this extent. Especially for the federal government to actually recommend going, basically encrypting your traffic inside the telecommunications network. So if you're working in critical infrastructure, talk to your management, work out a plan to figure out if you're going to use Signal, if you're going to use WhatsApp. Just make sure that you're being very cautious about what you're sending over the public texting network. So if you are going to use the public texting network like Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, those types of guys, that you're not, talking about things that are sensitive that could be eavesdropped on, because this isn't a theoretical thing. These are actual bad guys inside these networks. The other part of the problem is we have no confirmation that they've been eradicated from these networks. While it's still taking a lot of time for these telecommunication providers to illuminate these threat actors inside their environments, it could take a while. The other issue is that in order to actually fully eradicate them means that they might have to start replacing a lot of equipment. keep in mind that, and I'm painting with a very broad brush here because I don't have personal knowledge of every cell tower and what's inside these networks, but I do have information to indicate that a lot of these networks have aging equipment inside of them. It's very common for the telecommunications industry to run gear that's end of life, out of service, and not patchable any longer. And a lot of these threat actors, nation-state threat actors, are making their way inside using those methods. So to kind of end this whole breaking news session, sorry it's so long, but there was a lot to unpack there. The government has issued a bulletin, basically a guidance document to the telecommunication providers. We can provide you a link for that as well in the description to give them basic information about how to harden their networks. Now, if it's getting down to the point where we have to provide basic guidance to our telecommunications industry on how to secure their networks, I think we're at another serious issue here. So just be very mindful about your conversations. Look at the devices that you have discussions maybe inside the family if you travel abroad, or you just have to be, we call it operational security inside the industry. So you have to be very cognizant of what's around you, the communications that you're having, and that you're being very safe with your devices. That's it for this breaking news cycle. We'll see you at the end of the week. And hey, let's be careful out there.